Hello everyone and welcome to a compilation of summaries of all 5 volumes of Warframe Ghoul comic or graphic novel series. The videos for this series were already made, this is just a collection of all 5 of them in one massive video. This is the Hall of Mirrors series, a series about Warframe lore, and I invite you to watch other episodes in the series as well, since all of it takes a lot of time to make. We talk about everything, from the most recent things like Warframe 1999 to the oldest things in the book, such as the Informant event or the Chaotic Front event. Those are some really old events that explain why we are in the Warframe universe where we are. But anyways, let's now talk about the Warframe Ghouls comic. It features many important characters we can find in the Warframe universe, such as Captain War, Little Duck, and the Ostrons. The series was written by Matt Hawkins and Ryan Cady, with additional contributions from Cam Rogers and Ryan Moll. The comics were drawn by Studio Hive and lettered by Tori Petrie. In addition, the covers of the comics were designed by Stjepan Šelić, Antilio Rojo, and Kevin Glint. If I mispronounced any of the names, I am terribly sorry. I am very sad to say that I cannot share the visuals of the comic due to copyright infringement, so most of the footage in the video will either be from the game or pictures. I also made a summary of the comic suitable for narrative story, so hopefully everything unravels okay. With that out of the way though, let's delve deep into the story of Warframe Ghouls. Amidst the idyllic and peaceful Ostron village, where nature's beauty merged seamlessly with tranquil living, an ominous shadow loomed on the horizon. The serenity was soon shattered as the malevolent Grineer army approached, led by the heartless and ruthless Captain War. Their insatiable hunger for power and ancient knowledge drove them to seek out rumored Orokin artifacts hidden deep within the vicinity. As the Grineer soldiers swarmed the village, they left chaos and destruction in their wake, ransacking every home, desperate to lay their hands on the elusive relics of the past. The Ostron villagers, once immersed in life of harmony, now found themselves engulfed in fear and despair as the invaders spared no mercy in their relentless pursuit. Despite the Grineer's fervent efforts, the mystical Orokin artifacts remained elusive, hidden from their grasp. Infuriated by their fruitless search, Captain War's patience wore thin, and he branded the innocent Ostrons as rebels. In a chilling decree, he ordered the immediate execution of the villagers, determined to make an example of their defiance. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the village descended into an inferno of chaos and tragedy. Buildings that once stood as symbols of community and unity were now engulfed in flames, their flickering light reflecting the desperation in the eyes of the fleeing Ostron residents. The air was filled with heart-wrenching cries of families torn apart, and the haunting sound of Grineer weapons echoed throughout the once peaceful streets. Amidst the devastation, a brave few attempted to resist the Grineer onslaught, but they were swiftly silenced by the ruthless oppressors. Every moment seemed like an eternity, and hope was slipping away like grains of sand through an hourglass. In the remote confines of a small humble hut, Mitsuki, a young and terrified Ostron child, huddled in the darkness, her heart pounding as she listened to the harrowing sounds of chaos echoing outside. The air was thick with fear and the acrid scent of destruction as a brutal Grineer massacre unfolded. Just as the violence seemed insurmountable, hope materialized from the heavens itself. A figure shrouded in a luminous blue aura descended gracefully from the sky, revealing the awe-inspiring form of the Excalibur Warframe. The village had heard tales of the legendary Warframes, but witnessing one in action was an awe-inspiring experience, to say the least. With unparalleled skill and sheer power, the Warframe confronted the Grineer invaders, and the battleground turned into a symphony of blinding energy and devastating force. The Warframe's combat prowess was breathtaking as it pushed back the Grineer forces, their weapons no match for the ethereal warrior's might. However, amidst the frenzy of combat, the Warframe's keen sense detected something amiss: the faint cries of a defenseless child amidst the chaos. Looking past the brutal warfare, the Warframe caught sight of Mitsuki, caught in the path of an enraged Grineer who was driving a colossal, menacing vehicle towards the innocent child. For a fleeting moment, the Warframe hesitated, torn between fulfilling its duty of driving off the Grineer or saving the life of a single, endangered child. In that crucial moment, compassion overruled the cold calculation of battle. Determined to protect the innocent, the Warframe made a decision that would alter the course of events. Summoning every ounce of agility and power, the Warframe lunged forward with a superhuman speed, just in time to swoop Mitsuki up into its protective embrace. In one swift motion, the Warframe carried the young Ostron to safety, ensuring that she remained shielded from the ongoing conflict. Even as the battle raged on, the Warframe remained steadfast in its commitment to safeguard the village. The immense power it wielded was now tempered with compassion, a powerful reminder that even in the midst of war, acts of selflessness and kindness could flourish. After a long fight, Grineer forces had been forced to retreat, leaving the village battered but standing, thanks to the intervention of the Tenno. In the aftermath of the Grineer retreat, Captain War's frustration and fury surged through him. Determined to reclaim their honor and exact revenge on the Tenno, he grimly decided that the entire Grineer unit would engage in one final, desperate charge against the formidable foe, when they inevitably returned. However, a lone Grineer commander, driven by desire to spare his comrades from certain doom, mustered the courage to plead with Captain War to reconsider. He suggested a daring alternative, employing the Ghouls, vicious and relentless creatures bred for combat, to lead a charge instead. Despite the commander's plea, Captain War's temper flared, and he violently lashed out on the brave commander, dismissing his proposal. Nevertheless, the commander's words seemed to echo in Captain War's mind as the night wore on. He decided he will employ the Ghouls. In the pre-dawn hours, the heavens opened up, and the rain poured down relentlessly, as if nature itself forewarned of the impending clash. The sound of clumsy footsteps could be heard approaching from the distance, growing louder and more chaotic with each passing moment. It was then when the Excalibur stepped out into the rain-soaked battlefield. His resolve unwavering, he braced himself for an imminent confrontation. Meanwhile, within the safety of their encampment, Mitsuki listened to Excalibur's departure. Concern and hope intertwined within her heart as she wished him good luck. As the light of dawn began to pierce through the stormy clouds, the deafening roar of the ghouls echoed across the battlefield. A grisly sight unfolded as the mutated monstrosities, each more terrifying than the last, charged forward with reckless abandon. Behind them, the Grineer ranks followed suit, hesitantly at first, but soon matching the ghouls' ferocity as Captain War's orders rang in their ears. Excalibur stood fearlessly against the onslaught, pushing his limits to the brink to repel the enemy. However, the sheer magnitude of the enemy's overwhelming numbers began to take its toll on the mighty Warframe. Despite Excalibur's exceptional combat abilities, the tide of battle seemed to turn against him, as the relentless Grineer advance threatened to overwhelm the valiant defender. Each moment brought the Warframe closer to exhaustion, and defeat appeared inevitable. The situation deemed a tactical intervention, and it was at this crucial moment that the Lotus, an ever-watchful guide for the Tenno, recognized the urgency for support. With Excalibur pinned down and the danger escalating, Lotus swiftly reached out to another powerful Warframe named Mag, who was known for her mastery of the magnetic forces. Without hesitation, Mag burst into action, her energy surging as she made her way to confront Captain War. The landing craft lit up and set its course to Earth. As the relentless battle raged on, Excalibur found himself immersed in a grisly pool of ghoul blood. which gradually congealated around his limbs, rendering him motionless and defenseless. Captain War, seizing the opportunity, had successfully captured Excalibur, who was now trapped in the clutches of the ghoul blood, unable to mount any resistance. The seasoned captain, known for his cunning interrogations, directed his attention towards the enigmatic Tenno, seeking answers to questions that remained unanswered due to the soldier's silent demeanor. Because of this, Captain War attempted a desperate tactic to gain crucial insights. Utilizing an Ascaris gadget, he attempted to force his way into Excalibur's memory space, seeking to exact intelligence that could shed light on the Tenno's motives for protecting the Ostron village. The ruthless interrogation revealed partial information hinting at an Orokin vault known to a mysterious Ostron girl named Mitsuki. However, before Captain War could extract any more valuable knowledge, an unexpected intervention disrupted his plans. The Lotus intervened forcefully, causing Excalibur's systems to shut down temporarily. The once mighty Warframe was abruptly turned offline, leaving Captain War frustrated and unable to glean any further intelligence from the captive Tenno. Faced with a roadblock in his pursuit of information, Captain War promptly rallied his loyal troops, intent on capturing the elusive Mitsuki. The young girl's knowledge of the Orokin vault held the potential to unravel long-lost secrets and riches, fueling Captain War's relentless determination to secure her at any cost. As Excalibur endured the intense interrogation by Captain War, a mysterious operative from Solaris United known as Lil Duck stumbled upon an unexpected encounter. Hidden away in a hut, she came across a frightened Mitsuki. At first, Mitsuki reacted defensively, mistaking Duck for a Grineer due to her unfamiliar accent, even cursing her to go to hell. However, as soon as she realized she was not a Grineer, relief washed over her. Recognizing Mitsuki's vulnerability and the danger she was in, Duck decided to offer her assistance. Together, they sought a safer and quieter place to converse. When they found a safe space, in a heart-to-heart conversation, Mitsuki poured out her entire ordeal, recounting everything that had transpired during her traumatic experience. Moved by Mitsuki's plight, the Solaris United operative extended a generous offer, a ride to other Ostron colonies, specifically Cetus, where she could find refuge and safety. But to Duck's surprise, Mitsuki instantaneously declined. Mitsuki wanted to continue the conversation, but unfortunately, before they could act upon their plans, Captain War and his soldiers caught wind of their presence once again. Lil Duck valiantly attempted to fight back, wielding her Buzzlock sniper rifle in a futile effort to combat their overwhelming numbers. The situation escalated as they found themselves encircled by vicious ghouls, seemingly facing a grim fate. But, as always at the right moment, in the very nick of time, a savior emerged on the battlefield in the form of Mag, a formidable Warframe. With swift and calculated movements, Mag turned the tide of the intense battle against the relentless Grineer, forcing them to retreat in disarray. Her arrival was nothing short of a game-changer, as she unleashed her powerful abilities, scattering the enemy forces like leaves in the wind. Amidst the chaos, Lil Duck also seized the opportunity to capitalize on the Grineer retreat. Skillfully maneuvering through the mayhem, she managed to stealthily steal War's Orokin key, a priceless artifact of immense power. With the key in hand, she ran, and after the dust settled, the Lotus reached out to the young Mitsuki through a holographic transmission. She recognized Mitsuki's potential and entrusted her with a crucial mission. Her task was to lead Mag and Lil Duck into the fabled Orokin vault, despite her visual impairment. In the shadows, the twice defeated Captain War brooded, his thirst for vengeance and victory unwavering. With his soldiers regrouped, he prepared for a desperate third assault against the formidable force led by the Lotus. Vor's twisted mind hatched a sinister plan, setting his sights on the dormant Excalibur Warframe and promising vengeance for his brothers. As the trio, Mag, Lilduck, and Mitsuki pressed on in their determined pursuit of the Orokin vault, the surroundings being silent bolstered them with a false sense of security, so they ventured into the ominous cave. Inside the cave's shadowy depths, the Grineer sentries stood guard, ready to stomp any intruders. Mag and Lilduck, experienced warriors, wasted no time in engaging the ghouls, their weapons clashing and echoing through the cavern's confines. Swirling energy and fierce attacks were exchanged in the dimly lit chambers as they pressed forward, determined to clear the path ahead. However, amidst the chaos of battle, Mitsuki found herself caught off guard and separated from her companions. Attempting to regain her footing after a stumble, she was suddenly stricken with terror when a distant roar reverberated throughout the cave. Fear gripped her heart, and in her haste to escape the ominous sound, she took a wrong turn, leading her away from the safety of her allies. As Mitsuki frantically tried to find her way back, the haunting echo of the roar grew nearer, intensifying her panic. Her breaths came in short gasps, echoing in the dimness as she struggled to regain her composure. However, fate seemed to have a different plan for her, as a massive ghoul suddenly emerged from the shadows and pounced on her with relentless force. Mitsuki's heart pounded in her chest as the enormous ghoul pinned her to the unforgiving ground. With fear and desperation gripping her soul, she fought back with all her strength, attempting to free herself from the ghoul's vice-like grip. As the ghoul's claws closed in on her, she managed to gasp for help, but her cries drowned out in the dark and eerie surroundings of the cavern. The air thick with tension, every second felt like an eternity as she fought for her life, her arms searing with pain from the ghoul's sharp claws. Relief washed over Mitsuki's trembling form as she witnessed the timely blast of Lilduck and Mag. With swift and precise strikes, they dealt a lethal blow to the menacing ghoul, freeing her from its clutches. The ghoul's head was blown clean off, scattering its lifeless body across the cave floor. Though safe for the moment, Mitsuki did not know that the wound she got from the ghoul's attack would have repercussions later. Outside, somewhere near the Orokin vault, Captain Vor's formidable forces were bolstered by a legion of battle-hardened Grineer lancers, dispatched by none other than the queens themselves. Their support came as a reward for Vor's triumphant implementation of the fearsome ghouls. The arrival of the seasoned warriors brought a sense of fervor and determination to the assembled troops. As they stood united, Vor seized the opportunity to inspire his newly reinforced army. His speech resounded with a commanding charisma, stirring the hearts of his soldiers and filling them with the unwavering loyalty to the cause. With spirits soaring and adrenaline coursing through their veins, the combined forces surged forth, moving as a relentless and unstoppable tide towards the enigmatic Orokin vault. Amidst the echoing clang of metal and the crackle of Grineer weapons, they pressed forward, overcoming every obstacle in their way with tactical precision and ferocity. Captain Vor led from the front, his imposing presence acting as both a beacon of strength and a symbol of unity among the ranks. Back in the caves, Mitsuki led the Tenno through a labyrinth-like path, and she eventually revealed the long-sought Orokin vault. Forged from ancient whispers and encoded legends, her knowledge of the vault's location was a coveted secret that now stood before the Tenno. United by the shared purpose of uncovering the vault's hidden mysteries, Mag, Duck, and Mitsuki forged ahead, their steps guided by the dim glow of the Orokin key in their possession. This key, previously stolen by Lilduck during a daring confrontation with Captain Vor, held the key to unlocking the vault's secrets. With bated breath and eager anticipation, they placed the Orokin key into the long-forgotten mechanism and, as if by arcane magic, the ancient doors rumbled to life. With a resounding creak, the entrance to the vault swung open, revealing a dazzling void gate, pulsating with ethereal energy, beckoning them forward. Without hesitation, they stepped through the shimmering portal, and in the blink of an eye, they found themselves transported to a world frozen in time. A hauntingly beautiful Orokin tower, draped in majestic veil of decay, and overgrown with the twisted embrace of the infestation. The Tenno's senses were immediately assaulted by a surreal symphony of sights and sounds. The once proud Orokin architecture stood in defiance against the relentless advance of the infested tissue, a stark contrast between the grandeur of the past and the inevitability of time's passage. As they ventured further into the heart of the Orokin derelict, the veil of history lifted, and they were greeted with the remnants of a bygone era. Echoes of the Orokin civilization whispered through the decaying halls, a haunting chorus of memories and forgotten dreams. Dark aura filled the air as the Lotus guided Mitsuki, Mag, and Lil Duck through the eerie expanse. Her scans unveiled a startling revelation. Hidden deep within the derelict lay the Arrogia Medica, a coveted artifact whose purpose had caught the attention of the Grineer. The Lotus was adamant in her desire to safeguard the artifact from falling into their malicious grasp. Before she could fully explain the significance of the Arrogia Medica, an unexpected interruption cut short her transmission. Static filled the Tenno's communication channels as the ominous silence hinted at an unsettling presence lurking within the shadows. Suddenly, a blood-curdling roar echoed throughout the decrepit corridors, and the Tenno were met with an unrousing horde of grotesque infested creatures. Mag and Duck, seasoned warriors that they were, skillfully unleashed a hail of gunfire, cutting down the writhing abominations. The air filled with acrid stench of decay and the crackling of arcane weapons. Seeking refuge, the team managed to secure themselves behind the sanctuary of a fortified door. Temporarily safe from the relentless onslaught, they took a moment to catch their breath. However, their reprieve was short-lived as Duck noticed something amiss with Mitsuki. Angst gripped Lil Duck as she noticed the telltale signs of ghoul poison coursing through Mitsuki's veins. Time was of the essence, and Duck knew that urgent medical attention was crucial to save their friend's life. Turning to Mag, Duck implored with a sense of urgency to find a way to tend to Mitsuki's dire condition. But once again, when they tried to talk in peace, they heard rattling bones in the distance. With their communication cut off from the Lotus, they could only rely on their wits and battle prowess to survive the relentless onslaught of the encroaching horde. Mitsuki sought shelter behind the two seasoned warriors, her small frame trembling with fear and pain. The weight of responsibility pressed heavily on Mag and Lil Duck as they fought with determination to both defend themselves and ensure Mitsuki's safety. The echoes of gunfire filled the air once again, each shot a desperate effort to push back the ravenous infested. Amidst the chaos, they continued their relentless search for the Arrogia Medica, knowing that this artifact held the key to saving Mitsuki's life. The fight wore on, and even the most skilled warrior can be brought to their knees in the face of overwhelming odds. A tide of infested creatures overwhelmed Lil Duck, disarming her and leaving her defenseless against their nightmarish assault. But in a twist of fate, it was Mitsuki who crawled to the weapon and threw it back into the hands of Lil Duck, saving her, but not anticipating an attack from behind, which left Mitsuki with a mortal wound dealt by one of the infested. Mag and Duck quickly dispatched all of the infested and ran to Mitsuki, who was motionless and barely breathing. Time was of the essence even more now, and they knew they had to quickly find the Arrogia Medica Lotus was mumbling about all the time. On the other side of the Orokin portal and the Orokin vault, the deafening rumble of Grineer galleons reverberated through the cavernous depths as they unleashed their forces into the ancient structure. Waves of Grineer troops stormed forward, their footsteps echoing ominously against the vaulted walls. The intruders stumbled upon a ghastly scene. The remnants of their fallen ghouls lay scattered on the ground, some still feasting on their lifeless bodies of their fallen comrades. A grisly sight indeed. As they advanced deeper into the shadows, a determined squad of Grineer lancers and ballistas discovered the portal, securing it for their imposing leader, Captain War, and his company. With arrogance befitting a tyrant, Captain War stepped forth, his voice booming with self-righteousness as he delivered another grandiose speech praising his brothers and sisters and proclaiming their triumph over the Orokin vault. But just as Captain War's ego swelled, their progress was halted by the infested. Like a relentless tempest, the nightmarish creatures surged forth from the shadows, launching a ferocious ambush on the Grineer invaders the moment they crossed the threshold. The Grineer warriors found themselves facing an onslaught of feral monstrosities. However, the tide of battle took an even darker turn. A group of Grineer lancers tried to hack an Orokin console, and in their futile attempt to hack it, the Grineer inadvertently activated the long-dormant Medica protocol hidden within the ship's systems. Unbeknownst to them, the activation triggered the awakening of neural sentry drones that floated across the vessel like malevolent specters. These eerie drones, designed around sinister Orokin technology, descended upon the faces of Grineer and infested alike, corrupting their very being in process. The corrupted warriors' eyes gleamed with an unnatural malevolence, and they turned on their former allies with an unholy fervor. Now the Grineer found themselves fighting on two fronts, battling against the relentless infested and defending themselves from their own corrupted comrades controlled by the neural sentry. Amidst the chaos, Captain War's grand plans crumbled in the face of the unforeseen consequences. The once seemingly invincible Grineer now struggled to survive against the overwhelming forces aligned against him. Desperation hung in the air as the battle grew increasingly dire, but somehow he kept alive. Back to the Tenno Mag and her companions, they finally found the Rogia Medica. When seeing the device and the Orokin pod, Mag saw a faint vision of a life she vaguely remembered. The Golden Cradle. She put Mitsuki into the pod and began interfacing with a console nearby, activating the device. The device lit up and a surge of electricity ran over Mitsuki, who screamed in pain. Mag and Lil Duck knew they could do nothing, so they just stared. And as soon as the device powered down, the Ostron girl got back on her feet and took off her blindfold, her eyes completely white, looking at Mag and the Solaris operative as if she was never blind. Little Duck once again attempted to interact with the machinery, inadvertently flooding Mitsuki's mind with the vast knowledge of the Orokin vessel. The flood of information inflicted harm upon her psyche, but Mitsuki endured, now gifted with the ability to perceive the ship in its entirety. After a brief exchange, Mitsuki decided to seek an escape. Despite the strain on her mind, she managed to survey the surroundings and discovered the chaos of the infested, Grineer, and the corrupted battling throughout the vessel. Her newfound awareness also revealed the Rogia Medica's potential and the dire consequences of it falling into the hands of Grineer's Captain War. As her thoughts raced, Captain War and his forces closed in on the Medica chamber. Mag and Lil Duck swiftly retaliated, gunfire echoing throughout the room. And even Mitsuki joined in the fight as she took the ship's controls by re-entering the Rogia Medica pod, unleashing electrifying waves that incapacitated the enemies, creating a precious moment of respite. Seizing the opportunity, Mitsuki and her allies began their daring escape. Amidst the chaos, contact was re-established with the Lotus, who led them to a quick side objective of saving Excalibur from the clutches of the Grineer, who for some reason brought him with them. After escaping and stepping through the Void Gate, the Lotus urgently advised Little Duck to sever the connection between the Torsion Beam device and the Orokin key, but just before she did, Captain War breached the threshold. A frantic showdown unfolded, War's shots striking down Mag and the Little Duck. But Excalibur quickly intervened, immobilizing War and allowing Mag to propel the Grineer General back into the Orokin vessel, sealing his fate. And thus the battle was won. The Lotus's champions, Mag and Excalibur, could finally take a rest. And with Mitsuki's help, vital data was extracted from the Orokin vessel, benefiting all those who fought. Little Duck, for example, could finally pay the monthly interest she gained with her debt, and now she was free, for at least a month. And for Mitsuki, her sight was lost once again as her link to the ship was severed. However, a new haven awaited her, the Quills, who embraced and cared for her unconditionally. And as for Captain War, he was now trapped within the Orokin vessel for eternity, or so we thought. And with this, I thank you for watching. This was a very long video, and what do you think about this series? I liked it very much. I'm not a comic person, but this thing was goddamn epic. Thank you for watching yet again. Watch the Hall of Mirrors, and have a nice day. Bye guys.